My name is Ronan Shaughnessy. I am from Mr. Sidman's 5th period Physics A class. What you've just seen is a very simple electromagnetic motor of my own creation in operation. Let's see it from another angle. Wow, that's quite the machine. But how does it work, you may ask? Aided by an image from the web, I'll explain the basic principle behind this motor. The arrows represent the flow of current from one terminal to the other through the copper coil. Note the fact that at either end of the coil connected to the needle is stripped bare, but the middlemost area of the coil is not, as that bare wire is needed to conduct electricity, but for the sake of being affected by a magnet, the stripping of the enamel matters significantly less. In any case, the system by which the motor itself functions is based upon the fact that current flows through the entirety of the coil. At the top and bottommost points of the coil are where the magnet, as we see in an electromagnetic generator, has the ability to push the current flowing through the wire with the highest quantity of force, thus moving it into a more horizontal position. Inertia does its thing, it rotates back to that more vertical position. Again, the magnetic field generated by the magnet pushes against the flow of electrons, forcing it into a horizontal position, wherein the electrons are more equidistant from the magnet. Inertia does its thing, back to the vertical position, and so on and so forth. To emphasize the degree to which the magnet moves the coil, I'd like to show a brief clip of what happens when the coil is simply moved with the force of one's finger. As you can see, the two forces are really incomparable, as the electromagnetic force keeps the coil in motion, as a purely kinetic force which simply leaves it to rotate for about half a second, and then the coil stops. Lastly, I'd like to cover the history of DC electric motors. In 1832, William Sturgeon introduced the world to the first motor utilizing electromagnetism. By 1855, Enyas Jedlik, one of the foremost innovators in electromagnetism, even before Sturgeon, demonstrated the first model of an electric vehicle. By 1886, Frank Sprague had created the first practical motors, and by 1887, in Richmond, Virginia, they were used to create the first electric trolley. Fast forward 150 years, electric motors are used in many, many objects. Think cars, DVD players, winches, and so on. Both banal and exciting. And though AC motors are more common, for smaller applications, DC still works fine. Anyway, please excuse the poor camera quality throughout this video, and a special thank you to Microsoft Paint and Microsoft Video Editor, two wonderful pieces of software. Thank you for watching.